Miss Susie with the magical sunglasses meets Miss Maggie with the red hat. Hello there! Guess who's back? It's me, of course. Aren't you just thrilled about that? Of course you are, because by now I certainly assume that you know who I am. And if you don't, well, that's your own fault, isn't it? That's because I'm Miss Susie with the magical sunglasses, the most adorable cat in the entire universe. I'm sure you've heard of my magical sunglasses. They are big and blue with glitter on and are shaped like 2 stars. They pair perfectly with my 2 pointy ears, my silky soft fur, and my adorable voice. They also make everything around me feel wonderfully fun and alive. I'm sure that you know very well by now that it's only when I sleep that I take off my beloved sunglasses and put them in a beautiful mahogany box with the most delicate dark blue velour fabric on the inside. Everyone knows that. Well, at least almost everyone. I'm convinced of that. If there should happen to be 1 or maybe 2 residents on this planet who don't know, well, that's their problem. It's not something I can be bothered with now, is it? Oh, well, today I want to tell you about one of the worst days of my life. I don't really know why these things always seem to happen to me, but it was absolutely terrible. I hope you're ready to listen carefully, because I want to tell you about the day that I met Miss Maggie with the red hat. She was utterly awful, and I hope I never meet her again. I get really annoyed and stressed out just thinking about her. To tell you the truth, our meeting actually started quite well, but then something happened which changed the whole atmosphere, and it was her fault. Honestly, it turned out she was a horrible creature with some shockingly bad behaviour. Now listen, I, the one and only Miss Susie with the magical sunglasses, was enjoying a lovely morning walk after my long and soothing beauty sleep. You see, when you're as adorable as I am, it's very important to get enough sleep. You do understand that, don't you? Oh, well, this is the thing. I was simply getting ready for a new day. Slowly and elegantly, I walked around as I normally do, putting one paw gracefully in front of the other. My magical sunglasses sat perfectly on my SSS, and everything around me was bright and vibrant. The colours radiated so beautifully. All the sounds were like music to my ears, and everyone I met smiled sweetly at me. The trees and the wind danced together, and the leaves trembled and laughed as the wind tickled them under their toes. The sun gave the earth a big hug with its warm rays and makes everything shine so beautifully. And there's more. The clouds in the sky turned into big, funny, mysterious creatures which were singing and dancing, joking and laughing and having a huge party. Have you got any idea how amazing I look when I'm wearing my magical sunglasses? I'm absolutely stunning, you see, like a world-famous celebrity whom everyone loves because they're so adorable. Everyone looks at me as I come walking. My gorgeous tail swings softly from side to side, and I wiggle my bum a little as well. I have all the time in the world when I'm wearing my magical sunglasses. I am, in fact, so charming that it's hard to imagine. I often wonder if anyone can imagine what it's like to be as adorable as me. Can you, perhaps? Well, I promise to tell you what happened on this terrible day of my life. It'll be tough, but I'll do my best. Listen carefully. As you already know, I was on a lovely morning walk. I felt at peace with the world and sensed no danger when I suddenly heard a small meow from inside one of the large gardens in the neighborhood. I stopped and listened. Who could it be? I had never heard a meow from inside that garden before, so of course I was a little curious. I looked around before slowly and gently sticking my head through a small hole in the fence to see who it could be. I was, of course, absolutely convinced that whoever it was, he or she would be extremely excited to see me. And this was, in a way, true, because, as I've already told you, it all began on a pretty positive note. However, that was because I didn't know how mean and cunning she could be. If I had known, I would almost certainly have walked away without offering her so much as a glance. "Hello there, come on in." She had a sweet voice, and I made my way through the hole in the fence and all the way into the garden. It was there I caught sight of her, a lovely lady cat on one of the garden tables, smiling at me. She did in fact look very elegant, wearing a big wide red hat with a beautiful flower and a black silk ribbon on. It sat perfectly on her head, slightly tilted, and I had to admit to myself that it suited her black fur rather well. "Hi!" I slowly approached the table where she was sitting, making sure to swing my pretty tail that little more. "Come closer. You're Miss Maggie with the magical sunglasses, aren't you? I've heard of you." I smiled and nodded gracefully. Of course she had heard of me. Everyone has. "Yes, that's me. But who are you?" I spoke in my sweetest voice. "I'm Miss Maggie with the red hat." She adjusted her hat a little with one paw. "Oh, well, it's nice to meet you. What a lovely garden you have here. My magical sunglasses made the whole garden glow and shine in the most beautiful colors." "Yes, it is, isn't it? But would you like to come up here and sit next to me for a while?" Miss Maggie moved slightly to one side, so there was plenty of room for me. Well, yes, of course. I thought she was just being nice, and being as innocent as I am, I jumped up on the garden table, and so there we were, two cats sitting on a table. I was really captivated by her gorgeous red hat, and looked at it a little discreetly. "Oh, what lovely sunglasses you have!" Miss Maggie spoke in a soft and flattering voice. "Thank you. I love them very much." "I understand that very well. You look great with them on." "Yes, I'm in fact the most adorable cat in the entire universe." Maybe it was here that everything started to go wrong. Miss Maggie began to nag about borrowing my sunglasses and wouldn't stop. "Can I please borrow your sunglasses? You'll get them back right away." "Oh, no way. I only take them off when I sleep." Oh, come on, only for a short moment. Miss Maggie looked at me with her adorable eyes, but I put my snout in the air and stood firm on my decision. No, sorry. My sunglasses are my dearest possession, and I never lend them to anyone. You understand that, don't you? But Miss Maggie just shook her head a little and tilted her elegant hat even more. I must admit that I could hardly take my eyes off the big red hat with the beautiful flower and the black silk ribbon. You may borrow my hat. I looked at it again. It was amazingly beautiful, and it would surely fit me a lot better than Miss Maggie. I was very tempted by her offer. What should I do? Can I borrow your hat anyway, even if you don't borrow my sunglasses? I smiled my most adorable smile, but Miss Maggie just laughed out loud. Oh no, something for something. Nice try though. They were her exact words. Miss Maggie took off her hat and handed it to me. I held the hat with my paws, and now I could really see how beautiful it was. I felt a sudden overpowering urge to try it on. I knew I would look so good with it on. And then, in a weak moment, I did something that I should never have done. I put the hat on my head and took off my beloved sunglasses and gave them to Miss Maggie. Okay, we'll switch, but only for a short moment, okay? I tilted the red hat slightly to see how it felt. Of course, Miss Maggie was faster than lightning when she took my sunglasses. I stared at her as she put my magical sunglasses on her snout. It was a strange sensation. Just for a short moment, right? I was a little unsure if this Miss Maggie had understood what I was saying. Yes. Oh, thank you so much. Goodness me, how beautiful and wonderful everything is. And you look amazing with my hat on your head. It fits you really well. Miss Maggie smiled at me, but I don't remember if I smiled back. It was as if I started to see everything with different eyes, and that's exactly what happens when I don't have my magical sunglasses on. Without them, the world turns into a really annoying and stupid place. I wrinkled my super sweet snout and stared suspiciously at Miss Maggie. I'd like to have my sunglasses back, please. I spoke to her in a polite but firm voice, so that she would understand that I meant business. But what do you think happened? She just laughed and didn't understand a thing. Oh, come on. Of course I can borrow your sunglasses, right? That's exactly what this hideous creature said. And as if that wasn't enough, what do you think happened next? I'll tell you. Now Miss Maggie jumped down from the table and started walking around in the garden. Look at me, how cute and adorable I am. How dare she? There she was, walking around with my magical sunglasses, elegantly swinging her tail and wiggling her bum. Who did she think she was? It is I, Miss Susie with the magical sunglasses, who is the star in this town. Everyone knows that, honestly. And as if that wasn't enough, what else do you think she said? Well, let me tell you. Look at me. I'm the most adorable cat in the entire universe. I couldn't believe my ears. I stared at her in disbelief. There she was, walking around with her snout in the air, thinking she was something special. What a terrible snob! I realized that she really believed she was sweet and lovely, but to think that she was the most beautiful cat in the universe, I am the most adorable cat in the universe. Not her. Me. I want my sunglasses back now. I'm afraid my normally silky soft voice sounded both raspy and gruff, but you must understand that I was very, very cross. Gee, why are you so mad? Miss Maggie just laughed and giggled as if nothing has happened, and I realized that I had to do something. Quickly, I jumped down from the table and ran over to Miss Maggie. Okay, here's your hat. Now give me my sunglasses. I tried to give the hat to Miss Maggie, but she wouldn't accept it. Instead, she flashed me a fake smile, and then the unthinkable happened. This disgusting creature ran off with my magical sunglasses. I meowed loudly in sheer horror, sensing the panic spread in my adorable cat body. She stole my magical sunglasses right before my snout. She was nothing but a petty thief, she was. I ran after her as fast as I could. Give them back. No way, they're my sunglasses now. I'm the cutest cat in the whole universe. Miss Maggie laughed out loud, but I was absolutely furious and could feel how the fur rose on my back. I stared at her with angry eyes and began to growl deeply. She had asked for it. I was going to show this annoying beast who was the boss once and for all. Without realizing it, I flicked one paw and gave her a proper one on the snout. It was hard to keep my claws in. Miss Maggie, that wimp, howled loudly as the sunglasses fell to the ground. I was just about to take them when she... Oh dear, I really don't know how to tell you what happened next, but I'll try. Because this vicious monster of a lady cat, she scratched my cheek. First I held one paw on my cheek and stared at her in bewilderment. But then I narrowed my eyes and raised both my paws, ready to fight. Fine, but no claws and no teeth, okay? Deal. Miss Maggie sent me an intense, hateful look. Now there was no turning back. The hair rose on our backs, and we clashed. We rolled around on the grass. We meowed and howled. We pushed and kicked each other. We hissed and growled. We showed our razor-sharp claws and teeth, and we fought so hard and for so long that grass and hair flew everywhere. Finally, we both cried from pain and sheer exhaustion, but neither of us would back down. I was so furious that I was prepared to fight my last breath. But it was, of course, I, Miss Susie with the magical sunglasses, who won in the end. Suddenly, Miss Maggie took her stupid hat and ran out of the garden, wailing with her tail between her legs. A really pitiful sight, if you ask me. I snorted, and as soon as she was out of sight, I put on my magical sunglasses. I almost cried with relief that nothing had happened to them during the fight. As you know, I cannot show myself to people and animals without them on. Then I rushed out of the garden as fast as my legs would carry me. Bruised but happy, I walked towards my home. I wanted my human food, comfort, and rest. My whole adorable cat body hurt, but luckily, and thanks to my magical sunglasses, The world soon began to transform into a wonderful place. I began to feel proud and happy. I had, after all, fought like a real hero today, and most certainly won one of the most important victories of my life. Soon everything around me was beautiful and alive. I shed a tear of joy as I walked past the container behind the best restaurant in the city. It was here that I found my beloved sunglasses, and I wiped a tear from my eyes at the beautiful memory. If you don't know already, it's a place that serves the best food imaginable, and where only the most interesting people and animals come to eat. Well, now I've told you about this terrible encounter with this devious cat creature, you've probably shed a tear at how awful it was for me. You must be so relieved that I didn't get seriously injured, right? Wait a minute. Now that I come to think of it, there was in fact another time when something really bad happened to me. Oh well, but right now I'm exhausted and don't want to spend any more time telling stories. Not today, at least. Maybe another day. I think I deserve a little nap, and afterwards I will get ready to go out into the world. I will lick my fur and paws and stroke my whiskers so that they sit perfectly on both sides. Then I will go out and bask in the glory of how adorable everyone thinks I am. As always, I will put one paw slowly and elegantly in front of the other, swing my tail softly, and wiggle my bum a little. In this way, everyone can see that I'm the most beautiful cat in the entire universe. Before I say goodbye, I just want to make sure you remember my little secret. You have heard of it, right? It's the one that you are more than welcome to tell everyone you know. You see, every time my paws touch the ground, something magical happens. That's because my paws sort of tickle the earth. And then the whole globe begins to laugh and grin from ear to ear, and that joy spreads to every place on the planet. I love my secret so much. Be sure you tell it to everyone you know, okay? Well, that's all for now. You'll probably hear from me again soon. As you know, my name is Miss Susie with the magical sunglasses, and I'm the cutest cat in the entire universe. Just so we've got that settled once and for all. Aren't you just lucky to know about me? Well, have a wonderful time and enjoy life until we meet again. Au revoir, as they say in France.